Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess Hover. So good to see you again. You are looking great. Here I am, pregnant for the third time with a baby the size of a grapefruit. I'm 23 weeks pregnant, due mid to late November-ish. And it's a girl, and we're really excited. We're really excited now. I wasn't that excited when I first found out. I have a 1-year-old. He just turned 1, and then I have a daughter who just turned 5. And yeah, that's 1,000 children. If you didn't count, I am about to have my 1,000th child, is how I feel. But great, let's do that. Today's video is about body image. It's about pregnancy and postpartum and the way we see ourselves. I don't know how new you are to this channel, to my life. Actually, okay, before I go into that, hey, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the little bell to notify you when I make videos. That's gonna help you know when a new video goes up. If you're looking for more support in your parenting journey, you can join us in a Facebook group, private group called Jess Hover and Friends. I would love to see you there. It's just people posting questions, advice, encouragement. They're great. You can come join. Also, one day I'll have an Instagram again. My Instagram got hacked. My Instagram is Jess_Hover. Whenever it comes back to life, if it comes back to life, then we can see each other there too. Anyway, okay, now back to the show. We're talking about body image. If you know me at all, if you've known me for a while, you probably know that I've struggled for a really long time with insecurity about my appearance. I feel like that's obvious, but maybe it's not. I don't know. Some of you might not know that. You're new. Yeah, I would say my most ongoing struggle of my life, my most consistent underlying issue that I have had to work through and work through again and then work through again, has been related to the way I see myself and the way I see my body, the way I care for my body. Starting young, I remember being a young girl and feeling insecure about my shape, feeling like I wanted to be beautiful, feeling like the real goal in life is to be beautiful. And if you can be beautiful, then you can be happy and powerful. These are probably the messages of the world, but really the messages that were driving a lot of my kind of inner dialogue as a young person, as a teenager, and then in my 20s too. And yeah, it's been a lot of work to overcome that. I did have an eating disorder for a few years in my late teens and early 20s. I struggled with bulimia for a long time. And I ended up having really supportive people in my life to help me overcome that, and meeting with a nutritionist and trying to figure out how to have a healthy mind when it came to the way I saw food and the way I saw exercise. I just so desperately wanted to be beautiful, and it was such a skewed even understanding of beauty, because I don't know that I ever would have felt beautiful, to be honest with you. I think that the cycle that I was in and the way I was caring for myself and relating to the world, relating to guys and friends, was one that I was convinced that I wasn't beautiful. I was convinced I had potential too. I thought, like, if I just work harder and try harder, and if my skin would clear up, and if my body would just be a different shape, then I'll get there, and then I'll be beautiful, and I will match what I see in the magazines and the TV. And that was even before social media was a thing, but once social media kicked off, I was right there comparing myself to the women I saw on there. I really wanted to be an actress or a model. I love being in front of people. Actually, what I'm doing here, I love it. But back then, I think a lot of it was coming from a pure place of, like, I want to do it because I think it's really fun and I enjoy it, but also I really wanted to be beautiful and valuable and important to people, because I felt like if I could achieve that, then I would feel those things inside of myself, and I really was longing to feel that. Over the course of many years and lots of wonderful people helping me through, and I think a big element being my faith in God and believing that I was crafted with design and beauty by the same creator, as the one who crafts the sunsets and the beautiful flowers and the mountains and the ocean. Like, somehow that belief and understanding also really shaped the way I saw myself. Anyway, over time, I developed what I believe to be a healthy way of seeing myself and a healthy way of relating to my body and relating to food. In fact, I was so passionate about this topic. The more I traveled around the world working with the nonprofit that Sean and I were working with back at the time, it was a Youth with a Mission, really awesome Christian missions organization that we worked with, still kind of work with. I just saw that everywhere I went in the world, women were struggling with the same thing as me. We wanted to be beautiful. We were struggling with our beauty, our identity, our sense of value. And everywhere, literally everywhere. I went to jungles in Thailand where people are in these remote places. I remember working with girls who had been rescued out of human trafficking. They were young girls who had been forced to be prostitutes, and the things they were talking about amongst themselves was who was the skinniest. I remember working in Chile with a group of university students, and they were telling me how they all kind of mutually understood that they were bulimic, like all of them. And it was just this friend group that would kind of like accompany each other to the bathroom or like cover for each other so that other people wouldn't figure it out. And that was across the board. Anywhere I went in the world, whether it was some remote, faraway place or a really kind of a place that resembled where I come from, right, Los Angeles, women were struggling with the same issues as me. And so the more I found health in my own mind and heart and body, the more I wanted to help other women find that too, and hopefully protect some younger girls from going through what I went through. Another piece of this is working in fashion and entertainment. So over the years, I've also had the amazing opportunity to work in the fashion industry and in the entertainment industry, both in Los Angeles and in New York City. And being able to work right alongside some of the most influential people in the realm of beauty and fashion, and like the supermodels that you could list by name probably, it's very likely I've worked with some of them and talked with some of them and texted with some of them, and that I know personally some of the issues that they have when it comes to how they see themselves. And these are the people that we put on the pedestal of like, this is what beauty is. And even these women struggle with insecurities that resemble the insecurities that any woman off the street would have. I started an organization through YWAM that ran for a few years called Beauty Arise, where we were teaching girls and women on beauty, identity, and value. And yeah, it was my jam. It was what I cared about. It's what I still care about. And then I got pregnant. And then I had a daughter. And a few things happened. One, pregnancy. That is like, what a thing. This thing, what a thing. Pregnancy reminds me a bit of being a teenager, because you just don't know what your body's gonna do. In the same way that when you're a teenager, you really don't know the shape that your body's gonna take. Are you gonna get boobs or are you not? You are not. Are you going to have legs that are really long and like, you know, the kind of legs that don't touch? Or are you gonna have legs that are like kind of curvy? Are you gonna have a booty or no booty? Like, what is your womanly form going to be as you transition out of the little girl stage or the little person stage and into the more grown-up version of yourself? You can feel kind of helpless. Are you going to get pimples? Are you not? Are you going to need braces? Are you not? Like, all of these questions that you just kind of fumble through and find answers and try and find your way. Pregnancy, my first pregnancy, but every consecutive one since, has felt very much the same, where I don't know how pregnancy is gonna go. I don't know how I'm gonna carry. Am I gonna carry like in a cute way where it's gonna just be so obvious that I'm pregnant and people are gonna be like, oh my gosh? Or is it gonna be more like in or up, or like, is it gonna look like I ate a lot and people are gonna be afraid to ask if I'm pregnant because it's not gonna be so obvious? Am I gonna look pregnant just in my belly? We love that. Our world loves that. My gosh, you don't even look pregnant. I mean, your belly does, but you don't look pregnant in your face or anywhere else. We love that. Do you choose that? Not really. Do you choose where you're gonna swell up? No. You can, of course, like nourish your body and try and be active and try and be healthy. But ultimately, there's so much that's out of your control. As a pregnant person, are you going to get stretch marks? Are you going to get acne? Are you going to get, is it called melasma? I'm getting it right now. It's where your skin gets brown spots from the sun, and they call it the mask of pregnancy. So cool. Are you going to lose your hair? Are you going to have a full head of hair? Are you going to glow, or are you going to look really tired? All of this stuff, it just happens to you, and you don't get to choose it, and you can make the most of it, because that's what we do in this life. We make the most of what we're given. But it's like this helpless, kind of vulnerable thing. And maybe for you guys, not so much. I'm a feely feeler. Like, I know that my sensitivity to the things going on around me is like way up here, when some of my friends are just chilling and they're like, no, I didn't feel that at all. I'm like, you didn't feel that? What is that like to not feel? I feel everything. You know, I have a daughter. My daughter Eloise, she also feels everything. So we're going to be quite the team. But yeah, I feel like pregnancy for me is a vulnerable experience, again, when it comes to my body. This pregnancy, my third one, I'm the oldest I've ever been for being pregnant, which is how life goes. You know, you just keep getting older each time. I don't know if that affects the way I'm carrying my baby, where I'm swelling. My daughter also is very observant, so she's been kind of funny to make some observations about me that she means in like the most pure-hearted kind way, like about, you know, just about how body parts on me are getting bigger. And she just says it like, look at that! You're really getting bigger in your legs. But your tush, you know the tush. She pointed out that my hair looks like a grandma, which I don't even know what that means. But yeah, I don't know. What I'm saying is this pregnancy has been harder on me when it comes to insecurities than my other ones. Oh, and because I got bigger faster this time around, probably because my body didn't recover, because I was just pregnant with Wilson like 2 seconds ago. And now I'm pregnant with this lady. What is going on? Anyway, we're going to bring it down. I don't know how you feel about your pregnant body. Here's what I don't want to do. I don't want to tell you my insecurities and then have you be like, what? If she looks like that and she thinks this about herself, then I must be blank. We do that as girls. That's why I think it's actually important, just as like a life lesson. It's very important to be careful about how we vocalize our insecurities. We are amazing as girls at perpetuating this culture of criticizing ourselves. I see it all the time. A group of girls goes into a bathroom together, they get in front of the mirror, and one of them is like, oh my gosh, I'm so fat. And the other one's like, ugh, my skin is so broken out. Ugh, my hair looks terrible. And it just becomes this like, I'm pointing out what's wrong with me, and now I'm pointing out what's wrong with me, and now I'm pointing out what's wrong with me. And then what's going on in our minds is like, what? If she thinks she's fat and I'm bigger than her, then I must be huge. And if she thinks she's broken out and I have more pimples than her, or if she thinks she looks old and I have way more lines than her, then I must look really old. We just do it, and then it creates this like feeling in the air of yuck, and it's not good. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it as a pregnant person, single person, married, unmarried, young, old, anything. I think as girls, as much as we can stop that, I mean, as humans, that's great, but I only know the girls' bathroom. That's the bathroom, the public bathroom that I know, and that's the public bathroom that I've seen this happen in over and over and over and over again. So I think just generally speaking, it's really important that when we are feeling things about ourselves that are negative, that we are constructive about it. And that could look like me talking to my sister or my friend or even my husband and being like, gosh, I'm feeling like really insecure about this, or yeah, I'm just feeling insecure about my size. I feel like my hair doesn't look good today and I can't stop thinking about it. Could you help me? And then they can help. They can help either in the way of being like, hey, I think you look great, or I'm sorry that you're feeling like that, or here, let me help fix your hair, or what if we did this? But it's something positive versus spewing the funk that we feel, which then ignites this forest fire of everybody spewing their own yuck. not good. It's not a good feeling. So I say that because as you're watching this, anything I say that is negative about myself when I'm sharing my insecurities, I'm not saying it to make you feel worse about yourself. In fact, I really like you. And if I saw you right now through this camera, through the screen, whatever screen you're watching me on, I promise I would tell you something I love about you, because it is not hard to find qualities about you that are beautiful. It's just not. That's not a unique to Jessica thing. That's a humanity thing. We all have such beautiful qualities about ourselves, and yet it can be really hard to find them when we feel clouded by our insecurities. And yeah, so hear that as just kind of a protection for us, okay? As we are walking through pregnancy, and then we have our baby, and then we're walking through this really vulnerable moment, time, space, where our bodies are recovering from 9 months of growing a baby, having a baby, maybe twins, maybe multiples. It's hard. And we also live in a world that loves it when you look like you didn't have a baby right after you had a baby. How many times have you seen that message? Look at this amazing woman. She just had a baby 2 weeks ago and you can't even tell. That message. Okay, great. She looks like she didn't have a baby. I promise she's still bleeding. That is not real. That is, if that happens to us, that's wonderful. If your body just bounces to a place of someone looking at you and not knowing that you had a baby, that's cool. That is not what we need to expect, long for, hope for, or feel like we have failed if we don't have that experience. After having a baby, there is going to be natural stuff taking place in our body that maybe is going to look different than we expect or hoped for, right? Our bodies are going to be squishier than they were before. Things are going to be looser, and you maybe are not going to have the energy that you once had right away. You're going to be bleeding probably for a time. The doctor that you're working with, or people who love you, they're probably going to want you to rest for a bit initially, like the first few weeks, especially after having your baby. And then once you resume some level of exercise or begin some level of exercise, they're going to want you to take great care of yourself, because having a baby is a big deal and they don't want you to hurt yourself. If you are nursing may or may not help you lose weight. The thing is, every body is different. And so for some women, nursing is going to be like a calorie buster, and they're going to feel themselves lose their baby weight. I want to be careful how I talk about this. I was going to say bounce back, but I feel like losing the weight, even if you lose whatever baby weight you may have gained, your bouncing back will still be some sort of bouncing forward to a new normal in this new body that grew a baby and delivered a baby. And you do not need to go get your body back. We've talked about this before. Your body's not gone. Your body is fantastic. It has just done this miracle work of growing a little human. And so we want to be so gracious and gentle on our minds. Very practically, what can we do? We can stay active. We can drink water. We can stretch. I've been doing bedtime stretches, Googling things like how to strengthen my pelvic floor, because this time around I feel like my baby's just falling out of me all the time, and it's not, don't worry. But just like everything feels so low, and I get so sore down here, much more than I had in previous pregnancies. So I've been doing exercises to try and strengthen that, Kegels. Hopefully I'm doing them right. There are amazing resources for you. You can even look up like physical therapists online that work specifically with people who are having babies and postpartum. There's Instagram accounts of that. When my Instagram comes back, I could share with you a few that I have followed. Yeah, I just think that the main thing we want to work on is taking care of our minds and cultivating really beautiful minds. I have a series that I did when I was pregnant with Wilson. So it was like a year and a half ago, and it's called Think Pretty, and I really recommend you watch it. I'm really proud of that series. It's funny, like, I mean, funny if you think I'm funny. You might not think I'm funny. That's okay. Every episode of that series is going to start off with me being like a total nutcase, doing something ridiculous, but I just wanted to keep it lighthearted and fun, and I also wanted to practice what it would be like to do some level of acting like a nut on camera to help me get more comfortable. So that was like my own personal challenge, but I really like that series. And so after I am a nut for the first couple minutes on there, then it's like a real message, solid content about how to think and how to develop beautiful mentalities that will then help us to have beautiful bodies and beautiful lives. And I recommend them. I recommend that series for anybody, but especially if you're pregnant and if you have a baby. Great, you should watch it. If you take a second and think about the most beautiful person in your life, you can take a few seconds. I would imagine the person that comes to mind is not someone that you are thinking about because they are physically beautiful. They might be. You're fine if that's true. But I just find that generally speaking, when we talk about really beautiful people, it's a much more complex response than just their physical appearance. It usually has something to do with the way they love people, the way they care for people, the way they listen, maybe their confidence or their assertiveness or generosity or whatever. Beauty is so much more than the way we look on the outside. And so as you are taking care of your physical body and exercising or getting stronger, developing like a holistic view of health, which for me looks like eating nourishing food, but also allowing yourself the space to eat dessert sometimes in a way that doesn't bring you a lot of guilt and shame and isn't something that you feel really crappy about. I think having dessert with people you love is like so important and so special. You should totally do that. Anyway, as you are developing physical health, staying active, all of the things, we're developing minds that are healthy, that are grounded and generous and kind and loving and all of the qualities that build a really beautiful person. And that's not really different from when we're pregnant or not. If we are pregnant with little girls, which maybe it's the same pregnant with guys too. I'm trying to think how it was with me and Wilson, but especially with Eloise, I had this kind of compassion because I felt aware of the pressure she's gonna feel when she's older. And so already just the thought of having a little girl to raise made me want to step up my game even that much further in the way that I care for myself and the way that I talk about food, talk about people, talk about beauty. I want my daughters and my son, but I'm speaking about my daughters because uniquely in my mind, this one and Eloise and my niece. I have a niece, Loie, who's about the same age as Eloise. All of these little women in my life sparked in me this desire to really get this right. I want them to be able to look at me and the way that I relate to beauty, relate to myself, relate to food and exercise and all of it, and I want them to find an example they can follow. And I even want them to be able to follow my example when I blow it. I want to be able to admit when I am getting caught up in something that's not true or good or right or healthy, because they're going to blow it too. And all of us might in some capacity, whether it's related to this topic or something totally different. I wanted these little girls to be able to look to me and see someone who's at ease when it comes to food, exercise, my body. And so even now in this pregnancy, where I find myself feeling insecure, clothes don't fit that did fit before, and some of the clothes that don't fit are clothes that I wore in my previous pregnancy. And they're not fitting in this pregnancy. And as much as I would maybe naturally want to get bummed about that or feel like, I don't know, something that would then affect my mood and my way of relating to other people, I'm trying to stay on top of it and even give myself lots of grace, realizing that right now I'm actually not exercising that much because coronavirus doesn't allow me to go to many places, and I am on child watch and baby watch way more than I was before, and so I just can't. Sorry if this is a rambly video, but what I hope you hear from me is that the struggles you might be feeling with insecurity during your pregnancy journey and your postpartum journey as well, they're normal. We all feel them. There's stuff you can do to take care of yourself, as I've said before, but more than that, my hope for you is that you will take care of your mind, that you will learn to speak really kindly to yourself, that you will be quick to shut down comparison when comparison happens, whatever that looks like. If social media is provoking comparison in you and it's making you feel bad, turn that off. Do whatever you need to do to protect your heart, protect your mind. Your body is amazing and it will do what it needs to do. As you take care of it, it will take the shape that it needs to take and it will be so beautiful. Focus on being beautiful, like whole person beautiful, not beautiful on the outside, but beautiful as an entire being who brings love and life and wonder to the world around you. And give your body a break. Nourish your body, take care of your body, and give it a bit of a break because it's doing a lot right now and it doesn't need you to be so mean to it. Be nicer to your body. Jessica Diane, be nicer to your body. That's the message for all of us. So you're doing really good. Thanks for watching. I really like you and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Okay, you're great. Thank you so much. Bye.